What's up, guys? Welcome to the Skeptic and the Scaredy Cat. I'm Scott.
I'm Jac.
All right, let's do that one more time. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Skeptic and the Scaredy Cat. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jac.
And guess who's who?
Take a guess.
Oh, we had such good natural chemistry.
I know. It's
We're doing a test-pisode of our podcast. This is going to be a podcast where I read ghost stories to Jac, and she reacts to them, and then we kind of have conversations about ghosts and the stories that we read and stuff like that. Jac has always been a huge fan of ghosts.
Love ghosts. Could talk about them all the time. Terribly afraid.
I've never been much of a fan of ghosts, horror movies. The genre itself has not been like a thing that I seek out. You know, I'm not always excited to watch horror movies and whatnot.
Yeah, but that's just because you don't like getting scared in the movie, but you're not scared afterwards. Like, I'm so scared afterwards.
Do you know me at all? I've been your boyfriend for like 4 years now. I don't like horror movies because of the way that they make me feel during the movie, and then after the movie I'll have nightmares. I'm like scared the entire time.
You never have told me that. You just tell me that you don't like watching them during them because you get scared and you don't like that feeling, but you've never mentioned that afterwards you're afraid like I am.
I mean, I've never mentioned that I only am scared during the movie. I just don't like, I try not to show that I'm scared because I'm your man's. I'm your boyfriend, you know? I'm like, I can't be the scared one if you're the scared one. It's like, I don't want to go out there alone. I'm like, I'll do it. It's fine. Or I'll go with you. It's fine.
You're out there like
I'm the same as everybody else, you know. If my dad asked me to take the trash out in the middle of the night, I'd like run down the side yard to get to the trash can and run back because I'm afraid some monster is going to leap out at me.
Okay, so there, but that, I guess that was when you were younger. So now,
Yeah.
Would you still be scared to take the trash out?
No, there's like different situations. It was bigger and scarier when I was a little kid.
I still am.
Okay.
Because I know that there are ghosts and monsters and vampires and witches all out there.
Okay, so it's a fact. I'm definitely like a little less scaredy than you. I'm a little less like
Definitely
jumpy,
a lot less scaredy.
but I mean, that's the reason that I've never really gotten into the horror genre is because it scares me. Like,
Well-
there's people who seek out adrenaline in the form of like skydiving, like jumping out of planes and stuff like that. People who like horror like this sense of adrenaline that they get from watching something that scares them. I feel like, and I just don't.
I do because I get so scared, but then I regret it when I'm trying to go to sleep and I'm terrified and I can't fall asleep and I'm so afraid and somebody's going to come get me.
And I have to clarify also, like when I say I don't really like the horror genre, I love the horror genre actually. Like I do like it. The problem is that I have to avoid it. It's almost like having to avoid spicy foods because it doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I see.
Horror movies, like I love the idea of them. I like actually watching them more than I like what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
it's not that I'm so scared while I'm watching it. It's
So
it's
it is.
more. It's
you
more so
are
the after.
so scared afterwards. Okay, so we should actually be calling this podcast Scaredy Cat and Scaredy Cat.
But I'm not. I don't like.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I believe in ghosts.
But
I
not
believe
the
in
way I
spirits,
do.
but not in the way that you do. I'm not like going off about ghosts all the time. I'm not like, there's got to be like a ghost in my closet because I felt a cold wind. You know,
Oh,
like,
yeah?
That's not me. You know, I'm like, oh, it's a cold wind.
That is me.
If I hear a footstep in the middle of the night, I'm grabbing my bat because I feel like there's an intruder.
Oh yeah,
in
see
our house,
me.
not a ghost.
Oh no, see I hear something and I'm like, it's a spirit from the past.
And you know, half of me is like, is that naivety? You know, like I get being spiritual, but like I'm more worried about like real world issues.
Yeah, I guess I just am like, what are the odds that somebody is breaking into my house right now? Out of all the houses on the street, like what are the odds that some actual physical person is breaking into the house? Meanwhile,
A lot higher than
what are you talking about?
Than the chance that it's a ghost.
Thousands and thousands of ghosts all over. Think of all the centuries and millenniums of living and life and death all around you. There's probably 35 spirit audience members for this podcast right now. And they're not open to talking to us, but one day.
You think we have 35 spirit audience members? We might not even have that many actual audience members at this moment.
Well, then we're talking to you, spirits. Thanks for being here. We love you.
Look, I'm gonna level with you. I'm gonna be super open to the possibility of ghosts being all around us. I do think that is definitely like a thing. I believe in spirituality and ghosts and otherworldly presences and stuff like that. I am just not as like I'm scared of the movies. I'm scared of things that like make me think about it, but I don't think about it as often as you.
Yeah,
you know, it's not
can't
something that is like my reality.
Because I feel so connected and so in tune. And maybe it's the Pisces in me. You know, we're very in tune. We're very, some say psychic. I didn't say it. You guys did.
No, she says it all the time. I'm a little bit psychic. I think I have like ESPN or something.
Well, so I can just feel
I think everything it's gonna rain.
Around me. There's a 30% chance it's already raining. No, I can just feel that there is life around me, even when there isn't. Mm-hmm. And I guess I should be saying there's death around me because technically they're dead. But
yeah.
And I also could just explain, like, everything has an explanation in the sense of, like, actually, I said that wrong. Not everything has an explanation, a real explanation. Everything has, like, a spiritual explanation. Mm-hmm. Like, Scott could easily be like, oh, yeah, like, the wind moved that. And I'm like, no, there was no wind. That was obviously a sign
that
from...
was the previous owner's last dead dog, Frodo, who knocked something over just now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But, okay, so let's introduce the podcast a little bit more. You've got an idea on our takes on ghosts by now, right? So the idea of this podcast is Jack and I have been like really looking for something that we can do separately, but also together, like something that's outside of us just making content on the internet, like about whatever we're doing. Because what the hell are we doing? And we're trying to find something that interests us and something that will, you know, something that we can do together that brings us enjoyment, fulfillment, like something that we can spend quality time doing. And I was like, you know, one of those nights that I just couldn't sleep. Scared to ghost, couldn't sleep. I got up and I went to my office and I just had all these ideas running through my head and I started writing down things like ideas for stuff. And it's like one of them was like, how about a ghost podcast where I read stories to Jack and she reacts? And that's kind of like how this started. Mm-hmm. And the next morning, after going to bed at 7 a.m., I like
so excited about this idea.
So excited. I told Jack and she was like, oh, I mean, you reenact your...
Oh, I literally was like, oh, that is the best idea you've ever had in your entire life, ever. Like, literally, you guys, I don't think, I was like jumping off the walls. I was dancing with the spirits with that one. No, it was genuinely, I couldn't be more excited because I do love that. I think the reason why you came up with the idea was because earlier that day, my friend Shanley was over and we were trying to ghost hunt in the house and we were very into it because it's real. And so then that's, I think, kind of pushed you in this direction.
Yeah. And I think a few days before that, she had been over at Shanley's house and they started watching some YouTube channel about ghosts. And they
Project Fear, Ghost Hunters.
Project Fear. And they were, you know, watching these ghost hunting videos. And I have friends who do that stuff.
Or maybe it's Fear Project. Well, anyways.
I think it's Project Fear. But I have friends who do that stuff. Sam and Colby and then like Elton and his crew do that stuff. And you know, it's always been a really cool thing, the overnight, the abandoned houses and all that stuff. I'm not into like actually doing the ghost hunting myself because I'm a skeptical scaredy cat. I'm more scared of there being like someone in that abandoned house who's going to stab me.
Yeah, you're afraid of someone like somebody who's hiding out in the house.
In an abandoned place.
Meanwhile, I'd be the person that's like, oh, I hear a noise. Let's get closer. They're trying to communicate. It's literally somebody standing there with a knife waiting.
Yeah. So anyway, the idea is I am good at reading most of the time. I stumble on my words occasionally.
No, he's an amazing reader and you have a great, incredible narrating voice.
Thank you, baby. And she is an incredible reaction person. She's so good at reacting to things and giving you the full attention. She has ADHD and she gets hyper focused on something. So if I'm telling an interesting ghost story, she's going to be locked in and she will be giving you like the exact the kind of reaction that you need to one of these ghost stories. And I don't know how many ghost podcasts there are out there that are like, you know, they're usually two people, I believe, and they go back and forth telling the stories and asking questions.
Just reading the stories.
Or it's just one person. I just don't know how many people have the dynamic that we have where I'm such a pessimistic realist and
can explain anything away with logic.
You know, kind of like what's a wet towel, wet blanket.
A Debbie Downer.
A Debbie Downer.
A stick in the mud.
Yeah, someone like that. And then there's someone who's such a ray of sunshine, you know, like to counteract my black cat
Black cat and golden retriever.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, sometimes we switch off. Sometimes she's the black cat and I'm the golden retriever. Either way, I wasn't sure if there was, like, room for this podcast, so we wanted to give it a shot, and that's what we're going to do. And
there's room.
There's room.
Because even if
and
we
if
don't
there
have...
isn't room, then make room.
No, because even like we said, if we don't have real listeners, we got the ghost audience. So we will keep this going just for them, no matter what. So true, babe.
So anyways, I figured for this test-pisode, as I keep calling it.
Test-pisode.
Pisode. I had Shanley. I asked her to help us find some ghost stories so I wouldn't have read them already either. And she sent me a few, and I figured we'd just start this introduction episode off with us just trying one of these ghost stories. So anyways, we're just going to get into a first ghost story for this first episode, test-pisode of our ghost podcast, The Skeptic and the Scaredy Cat, guys.
I'm so ready.
You're so ready. All right, this is from a Reddit user named Scaredy, Cerati. Karate, it could be as well, you know, if you pronounce the C that way. My house was built in 1904. It is a single-family home, wood frame setting on a concrete block foundation. I've been living here for about 12 years. Of all the weird things that my siblings and I have seen or heard in this house, this one is my favorite, and it happened to my brother. About 10 years ago, my brother and his best friend had started a garage band playing mostly Spanish rock. His friends could only get together on Sunday afternoons. They would practice into the early evening and would usually call it quits by 8 p.m. This was usually the time I would show up and go to bed because I worked the graveyard shift. This happened in late fall, so the days were getting shorter. They had just finished a long session when the decision to head to someone else's house came up. My brother handed his car keys to his buddy so they could load up the equipment, and everyone started filing out of the basement. The tricky part is that they needed to walk all the way to the back of the basement, up the back stairs, through the kitchen doorway, down the hall, into the living room, and out onto the front porch. At this point, that was a mouthful. At this point, everyone was outside sitting in my brother's truck waiting for him. My brother was walking up the back stairs when he remembered that he had left his pancakes in a to-go container on a speaker in the basement, so he decided to go back. Now the basement is not clean. With full sight lines, there have been partitions made, and the boiler and main heating unit are right smack in the middle. So after my brother walks back, he's about to retrieve his food container when out of the corner of his eyes, he sees it. It was a shadowy figure right in his peripheral vision. A feeling of dread and uneasiness washed over my brother. We had been taught that if you were in the presence of a spirit or a ghost, or you felt a bad vibe, to say a quick prayer or cuss at it. My brother chose the latter. He basically just told it, "Hey, fuck you. I don't have time for this shit."
That's what you would do.
Probably. Because I think it was a person, not a spirit.
Yeah.
My brother started to walk to the back of the basement and briskly up the stairs, closing doors and turning off lights as he was walking out. The last light switch is on the opposite side of the front door. Luckily, the door was open and the light from the street lamp was flooding the living room with its amber light. My brother said he felt something at his back, but at no point did he turn around. He flicked the last switch and the living room went dark, as was the rest of the house. As he stepped out, he pulled on the door, closing it behind him, still holding his food container in one hand as he jogged down the few porch steps. He walked towards the front gate. Our house resides far from the main street, essentially having a large front yard but no rear garage. As he closed the gap between himself and his truck, he kind of smiled and thought things over in his head, mad at himself for getting spooked when there was no reason to. He climbed into the driver's side of the truck, put on his seatbelt, and was getting ready to pull out of the parking spot when one of his friends asked, "Hey, wait, what about your brother? Isn't he coming with us?" My brother answered, "What do you mean? He went to work early tonight. He's already gone. Do you see his car anywhere?" The next question they asked was, "So then who was that walking behind you when you were leaving the house?" I got the chills, bro.
Oh my God.
I just got the chills at the end of that.
Is that the end?
That's the end.
Oh my God. I have tears in my eyes.
I got a little watery-eyed too. I love that shit.
Oh my. Then who is that walking behind you? Oh my. I would never go in that house again. Oh.
I mean, you kind of have to. It's your house. What are you going to do? I'd get over it, but like in that moment, I'd be like, the way when I read that story, like I got the chills too. Maybe this should have been Scaredy Cat and Scaredy Cat.
I know. I think it might. Oh my God. Because it's one thing to see it and then be like, okay, whatever, I got away from it. And then he even being like, oh, I'm mad at myself for being scared. And then the friends being like, wait, your brother, where'd he go?
What happened, man?
Oh.
That's crazy. I like that. It took me a while to get to it, you know.
No, but I love stories like that. That it's just like all big setup, and then it's like the scary just like
boom.
bites you in the end.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know what to expect there. I guess I don't read that many ghost stories, so maybe we will start knowing what to expect. But that was fun. That was fun to read. This is like a new thing for me because I've never really been like I'm not going on Creepypasta and Reddit reading ghost stories. So it's like that was really fun. Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna really enjoy this.
I think we are both going to really enjoy this.
Wow. Well, let's close it out. Because this was supposed to be like a 10-minute thing, and we've been here for probably like 30 minutes.
I know. I think in the future episodes, we're going to talk a little, get into the episode, and you can read a story. We'll discuss the story a little bit, and then just kind of keep moving along, story for story.
Yeah. I also have this other idea, which was to maybe use like ChatGPT to like write out a quick summary of like a movie, like a horror movie, and I would read the summary, you know, without giving away the plot, and be like, all right, what movie is that from? Like you have to guess based on the summary.
We can do little segments.
Yeah. And it would be like an ending segment where it's like, all right, now guess what movie this is from. Mm-hmm. And little things like that. But
we can also we need to have an email so that people can write in stories, and also maybe they can write in like movie suggestions, and we can watch movies and then like do reviews of movies, like really freaky, creepy, weird movies or scary movies.
Yeah.
And we talk about them and be like, I'm never sleeping again.
Yep. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I hope that you guys are like into it. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be so much fun.
And there is going to be some like banter between me and her. We're going to be talking, Jack and I, and stuff like that. But we're going to try and fill these episodes with like 3 or 4 stories per episode, discussion on the stories themselves, and then also our own experiences. We're going to have more stuff to talk about, but this is just to get a feeler out, a vibe for blah, 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 blah. Let's end this.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching or listening to The Skeptic and the Scaredy Cat. I'm Scott.
I'm Jack.
And that's that.
Boo.
Spooky stories. Bye-bye.
Bye.